Today I'm going to show you how to take that 1-point perspective that we talked about in a previous video and turn that into a really cool aquarium room. If you haven't watched that first video, please go back and watch it because it'll kind of give you the basics that you'll need to know to make this project really cool. Either way. So I'm going to take my T-square and draw a dot about in the middle. Okay. Now this dot is also going to be on my horizon line, which I need to draw. My horizon line is going to be the divider between the ground and the walls and the ceiling. Okay. Now we're going to create the floor. So we're going to start with our ruler on that focal point, and then we're going to take it and go to the corner of the paper. So we're going to draw a line going this way and do the same thing on the other side. Again, I would draw lightly because you never know when you're going to need to erase. So now we can see this floor looks like it's going further and further away as it gets closer to that focal point. Up here is going to be the roof or the ceiling and the walls of our aquarium, and this is going to be the floor. From here I need to create my walls. So to create my walls I need to have the line where the ceiling and the wall separate. So I'm going to do basically the same thing I did here with my ruler, but instead of going all the way to this top point, I'm going to go about halfway. And what I actually really want to do is allow myself a guide. So I'm going to make just a little mark on each side, so now I know this is where my ruler wants to end up. So I'm going to connect the two dots. So ruler connected, whoop. And okay, so now I have floor, walls, ceiling. Okay, now normally you wouldn't have this much emphasis on the ceiling, but because we're doing an aquarium, we're gonna have animals and fish and different sea creatures swimming around up here, and so we want a lot more space in that area than we normally would. From here, I'm going to be adding my supports for the glass enclosure for my aquarium walls. All I need to do, since I have these nice guides, is I'm going to make 3 lines. Remember, when you're drawing in 1-point perspective, all vertical lines are perpendicular to the bottom of your paper. Okay, your line should never be slanted because it'll make it look like everything is falling. I'm going to do 3 lines on each side. So now we have the floor, the walls, and the ceiling. To create the feeling of this ceiling is arched, I'm simply going to draw an arch line connecting each of these sets of lines. Now our drawing is really building up. You can really see that feeling of going into this tunnel. So we're going to do something kind of cool on the floor. We're going to create a checkerboard floor. So it looks like a checkerboard. All you're going to do is take your ruler and draw more of these lines. So they're going from the focal point to the outside of your paper. It's up to you how many you want, if you want just a few, or if you want them to be smaller or bigger, it's up to you. So just take my lines, draw them out. And one more. So now you can see I have those vertical lines going, and now I'm going to create my horizontal lines. So these horizontal lines are going to be straight across. There's no going towards the focal point, nothing, is just a straight line. So it's up to you kind of how big you want them to be, and you just take your ruler, draw your line across, make your ruler go a little bit further. And now remember, because it's getting further away, those squares are going to be getting smaller, so your lines should be getting closer together. You don't want to get too small in there, you're going to make it really hard for yourself. But you can see it really looks like you're going into the drawing. So the last thing we're going to do before we start coloring is add in our creatures. Now here's where you get to be really creative. What kind of creatures do you want in your aquarium. Now this could be a regular aquarium with fish and dolphins and different things like that, but you could also have a little fun with it. Maybe it's not actually an underwater aquarium, but maybe it's an outer space aquarium. And so there are aliens and planets and comets and different things you'd see out in space up here. Or maybe it's in its own little planet and you're just standing in this little museum looking out into the crazy world around you. Really, what you put around here is up to you. We just created this space for your imagination. I hope you guys had fun today. I can't wait to see what you make. Bye.